Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Mass Effect. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today as we talk to our companions. Not that guy though, although I have some new things for him. He can wait. Garrus! I always leave you behind. I'm sorry, you're just boring as hell. he's definitely not, my least favorite companion, but that's my own preferences. We're still gonna date him, maybe.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one L-Corps diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs, had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
Not one?
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
I thought he was gonna make a math joke, because that is the math joke in there. Krogans have 4 balls. They have 4 balls. Also, you don't need 4 of them. Like, you can, it's, one of them is gonna do the job that, yeah. I mean, if you're buying it for virility, then I suppose you should even buy extra. Just get some more attached to your earlobes or something.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation, to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threatening? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies, then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
You can talk a little bit more quietly, maybe I can hear you then. It's the game actually lowers the volume even more than it already is. I'm trying to understand why he would pay these people in the first place. Because if you're making sort of a black market sort of farm situation, maybe you don't want people to, you know, tell on you. An easy way to make sure that doesn't happen is, well, it's not an easy way, but a way of making sure that doesn't happen is to buy their loyalty. But I'm not sure paying a meager amount to people who have lost an organ is actually buying their loyalty in any way. I think it's more of a marketing strategy, to maybe they go and tell their friends, oh yeah, I sold a liver and I didn't even lose my own liver. Because that's the situation here. Somehow he had 2 livers there and he didn't take them both, even though, like, what? Why didn't he take them both? Both livers or whatever, testicles. All the 4 testicles. 8, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be Krogan's doing the... I don't know if either way, the point is, you're doing something criminal. There's no incentive for you to refrain from doing murder. Because, in the sense of, like, if you're doing something criminal and you have to murder, then, especially if you're doing something criminal for profit, it's not like you're harvesting organs from the poor because I have to pay for my own organs. I have so many testicles that I need to replace, so this is for profit.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
I mean, yeah.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs, but they wouldn't listen.
No wonder you hated it there. Those idiots just let him fly away.
Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
I wonder what I'm doing here with my choices. In part, I'm playing a renegade. In another part, I'm trying to bang Garrus. But I also... I don't know. Obviously, he's still staying in character for what he is, but let's go with this one.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they'd died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Like, stuff like that, it's really complicated because if you look at real life, stuff like that does result in tremendous. I mean, it depends on what they are, but it does happen that it results in tremendous secondary or civilian casualties. I say civilian, but I mean innocent casualties. If they wanted to stop him, they wouldn't care about the civilian casualties. There's always something else. Usually, it's maybe because they're rich, maybe because they're friends, maybe because they have dirt on or somebody else has dirt on whoever is doing things. It's rarely for the lives of the innocent, because that's what you're trying to save. By stopping somebody like that, the argument that he's basically a killer. Well, this game muddies the waters a little bit, but let's just forget that because it doesn't actually make sense. And there's no reason why he wouldn't be a killer after this whole situation. There's no reason to believe that he's not a killer right now, and he's not just selling organs and not really caring about making duplicates or whatnot, because I imagine that adds to the cost of the whole enterprise. But it's to save the lives of people that actually, in this case, it's very obvious to see what the lives of people here are at stake. Because the ones that are going to suffer, that would be saved, are poor. So it doesn't really matter. The ones that would suffer if the ship crashed against the Citadel and whatnot are the people living in the Citadel, which are rich people and powerful people. And so yeah, you know what? He's Jack the Ripper. I'm not gonna care too much about him. And actually, I use Jack the Ripper here as an example out of familiarity with the thing, but not really. I'm not sure about the social economics of the case in particular. But Jack the Ripper famously only killed prostitutes. So at the beginning, anyway, I'm not really sure how that all turned out in the end. I don't think he ever got caught, but there's definitely there's the power balance is if it didn't happen, I would be surprised. Is what I'm saying.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salian?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
Yes, I realize that doing companion quests is a good idea to do them with the companions.
Commander, good to see you.
Yes, indeed. Well, we have a companion quest. Ashley, what's up?
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
She's also an alien, so I'm not really sure where she's coming from, but I don't know.
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it.
Because
hey,
she's an alien.
Want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be illuminating.
No, she was pretty forthcoming in the sex life department. We talked extensively about it.
I don't think she's used to teasing, good-natured or otherwise.
No fun, Commander. Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
Well, you know how gravity is.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the Lieutenant, Chief?
No, ma'am. And anyway, Scuttlebutt says he's already sweet on someone. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
I wonder what that line becomes under different circumstances.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I made Chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Where did you grow up?
All over. Same as you, I expect. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
Where were you when this was going on?
I
want to skip that.
They were on Amaterasu. Close enough to talk
Why did
regularly,
it? Did you hear the
too far to make it
boom?
back in
That
an
was me pressing
emergency.
space.
I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
No, that's
Mike thought they'd go for a
really,
romantic
really not
afterwards,
damned if you don't.
'cause he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense.
Wait a minute.
I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Didn't have a scratch on her. First off, yes, it is okay if you are not interested in sexual intimacy at any stage of your relationship, let alone at the beginning, as kids. It is okay. It is perfectly fine. First off. Second, what do you mean not a scratch on her? Did you expect him to beat her? Is that the not a scratch? Because she leveled him face first, apparently in self-defense. But, of course, you know, self-defense from... Well, let's not call it attempted rape, because that might not be the case, but anyway, self-defense. Let's not dwell on from what exactly, but not a scratch on her is really, really worrying, and she's not reacting to it as being really, really worried.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
Yes, also create bone structure damage and stuff. I don't know what she's referring to. Because... do you have to tie you into... Is that... Are we talking about corsets here? Because those do cause, you know, well, bone deformation. If it's on purpose, it's on purpose, but yeah, it's also a side effect.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
Did anything happen while you were home?
My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Yeah, but you still fall for him whimpering, "I'm sorry," so, you know, I'm not blaming her for falling for that, especially if she's a kid, because, you know, not experienced in all that, but, yeah.
Where was your father during this? Wasn't your family stationed near him?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Poetry is not necessarily sensitive stuff. In the sense that, you know, there's poets that are pretty violent in the what they say, and certainly in what they do. I guess you wouldn't, if you're Ashley, maybe you wouldn't call that poetry, because, you know, it's not sensitive.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it?
Oh my
That I
god.
believe in God?
Oh my god, what was that line? You mean from wherever we go after death because we're 10 years old? That was the line that kids say to each other at 10. I understand. Like, it's not, I don't think it is, I think I know why that line comes across as that. The game is trying to not be any real world religion, even though it's it had that line about something of a church before. But anyway, it's we need to excuse people for forgetting that they are that language can be very influenced by the majority religion of the country that the language is spoken in. Because I talked about about that when we saw Rex talk about an alien church or whatnot. The point is, the reason why that is because imagine they were Christian, and she would say, "You mean heaven?" Or imagine Shepard knew that Ashley is Christian, then she would say, "You mean heaven?" But even then, it's a really awkward line that is only there to make sure that we have this over here. Do you know what I mean? It's a line that people wouldn't ask. Oh, he's still watching, and you'd be like, "Oh, you mean from afterlife?" She actually should have said, "You mean from afterlife," or just from afterlife and forget the "you mean." There's better ways of writing that don't sound like 10-year-olds talking to each other. But yeah, so let's see. I do too. Keep it to yourself. Of course not. Not my place to judge, which is a pretty judgy thing to say because it implies that it is a judgeable thing. And so it is already a judgment, because you're judging that it is judgeable, even though it's not your place to judge. You're judging at something, just not the thing that might be a thing. Are you a fanatic? I think she is a fanatic, but maybe not a religious fanatic. But that has to do with her bigotry against aliens. Oh, wait, oh, right, okay, what am I answering to is an important thing over here. It's not a problem that I believe in God.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so in the Alliance Charter, only with fancier words.
I'm glad you're open-minded about it. I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
So we sort of went from one place to the other there. Weirded out by my faith? I don't know what your faith is, Ashley. I might be very weirded out by your faith. Very weirded out. I don't know what your faith is. Well, for example, if it implies that aliens are all terrible and bad and should be trusted, yes, I am weirded out by your faith, and I'm going to prohibit you from having that faith. As I've already said that you shouldn't be bigoted towards our alien companions. So, you know, if your faith requires you to be doing that, then, you know, just know, be bigoted by your own, on your room or something. But anyway.
Dismissed, Chief.
I don't know if that is her...
Ma'am?
Her faith. Obviously, it's a creationist faith, because she talks about apparently the universe being proof of the faith, so it's kind of complicated. And obviously it's an allusion to Christianism. We know it's an allusion to Christianism. It's not complicated. It's just maybe not in the text, and you have to read into the lines a little bit to be able to have that guess. Anyway, it's not. The game doesn't actually point it out. Engineer Adams. No, I don't need to talk to you, do I?
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Nah, we're good.
Carry on, Adams.
And
Aye, aye, Commander.
we're out of time for the day as well. So we're going to talk to Tally. Wait a minute. Did I... Oh, I left Rex. I'm sorry, Rex. Oh, I forgot you. I'm sorry. I was rambling about things. And we're going to talk to Tally as well. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Mass Effect. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.